Hello fellow boomers and welcome back to our channel. While you are watching this video, we're witnessing something unprecedented, a technological Cold War that's reshaping the very fabric of global power. And it all came to a head with a stunning development just days ago. The United States and China, locked in an AI arms race that makes the space race look quaint, just struck a deal that could change everything. We're talking about TikTok, but this story goes much deeper than dancing videos and viral memes. But wait, there's something even more shocking that most analysts are completely missing about this whole situation, and it has everything to do with a secret meeting that happened in San Francisco just months before DeepSeek's breakthrough. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see this entire AI war, and it involves connections between Chinese researchers and American tech giants that go deeper than anyone wants to admit. Trust me, you don't want to miss the final piece of this puzzle. Before we dive into that bombshell revelation though, I need your help spreading this critical information. If you're finding this analysis eye-opening, smash that like button right now. It tells YouTube that this kind of deep dive content matters, and helps us reach more people who need to understand what's really happening. And hey, I'm genuinely curious about your take on this. Are you team export controls are working, or team China just outsmarted Silicon Valley? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we read every single one and respond. Some of your insights can actually shape our future videos as it has happened before. If you know someone who's still buying into the mainstream narrative about this tech war, do them a favor and share this video. They'll thank you later when they're ahead of the curve instead of caught off guard by the next seismic shift. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're the only channel connecting these geopolitical chess moves in real time, and things are about to get a lot more interesting. Picture this. On September 16, 2025, President Trump extended yet another deadline for TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell its US operations. But this wasn't just another bureaucratic delay. Behind closed doors in Madrid, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese officials hammered out what they're calling a framework deal. Essentially, China agreed to give up 80% of TikTok's US business to American investors, including Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz. But here's what's truly mind-blowing. This TikTok deal is just the tip of the iceberg in a much larger battle, the race for artificial intelligence supremacy. And China just delivered a haymaker that sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. Enter DeepSeek, a relatively unknown Chinese AI startup that just accomplished what many thought was impossible. Using chips that were supposedly neutered by US export controls, they built an AI model called R1 that rivals ChatGPT and OpenAI's most advanced systems. The kicker? They did it for just $5.6 million in computing costs, while American companies spend hundreds of millions or even billions on similar models. When DeepSeek released R1 in January 2025, it didn't just make headlines, it triggered a market earthquake. Nvidia, the king of AI chips, lost nearly $600 billion in market value in a single day. That's more money evaporating than the entire GDP of most countries. The tech-heavy Nasdaq plummeted as investors suddenly questioned whether America's massive AI investments were just expensive overkill. To understand why this matters, we need to dive into the layers of this technological war. Think of AI competition like a skyscraper with multiple floors, each one critical to the structure above it. At the foundation, you have the manufacturing layer, the actual production of semiconductors. This is where Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, reigns supreme. They produce the most advanced chips in the world, the kind that power everything from your smartphone to the most sophisticated AI systems. China's Made in China 2025 policy aimed to challenge this dominance, but despite massive investments, Chinese companies still struggle to match TSMC's cutting-edge technology. Above that sits the supply layer where the real battle lines have been drawn. Since October 2022, the US has imposed increasingly strict export controls on China's access to advanced semiconductors. The goal was simple: choke off China's access to the tools they need to build world-class AI systems. Companies like Nvidia were forced to create dumbed-down versions of their chips, specifically for the Chinese market, the H20 and similar models that supposedly had their capabilities capped. But here's where it gets fascinating. DeepSeek's breakthrough proves that these export controls might have backfired spectacularly. Instead of crippling Chinese AI development, the restrictions force Chinese engineers to innovate in ways that prioritize efficiency over raw power. They learn to squeeze every ounce of performance from limited hardware, developing techniques that make their models not just competitive, but potentially superior in terms of cost effectiveness. The infrastructure layer is where companies like Meta and OpenAI have been pouring billions of dollars. Meta alone planned to spend $60 to $65 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025, expecting to double their GPU capacity to 1.3 million chips. Microsoft announced an $80 billion investment in AI infrastructure. These are astronomical sums that make space programs look like hobby projects. But DeepSeek's success raises a disturbing question for these tech giants. What if they're overspending by orders of magnitude? What if the future belongs not to whoever has the most expensive hardware, but to whoever can be the most clever with limited resources? At the top of this technological pyramid sits the application layer, where AI actually meets the real world. This is where ChatGPT, Claude, and now DeepSeek's R1 compete for users. Despite US dominance in AI monetization, America accounts for 45% of global AI revenue compared to China's mere 2%. DeepSeek's app shot to the top of Apple's App Store faster than you can say artificial intelligence. Now let's connect this back to the TikTok deal. The timing isn't coincidental. China's willingness to negotiate on TikTok came at precisely the moment when DeepSeek was proving that Chinese AI capabilities couldn't be contained by export controls alone. It's a masterful bit of diplomatic chess. Give ground on social media while demonstrating technological prowess that makes such concessions irrelevant. The TikTok framework deal reveals China's strategic calculation. By agreeing to reduce their ownership stake to less than 20%, they're essentially trading a social media platform for something far more valuable: time and breathing room to develop their AI ecosystem. While America celebrates securing TikTok, China is quietly building the infrastructure for the next generation of technological competition. But there's a darker side to this story that should keep everyone awake at night. DeepSeek's technology didn't emerge in a vacuum. Intelligence reports suggest that Chinese companies have benefited from extensive industrial espionage, including cyber attacks on critical US firms. In 2022, hackers breached Nvidia and stole sensitive information about graphics card designs and AI rendering systems. Chinese intelligence services have targeted US officials working on export controls, seeking insider information about American technology policies. Even more concerning, cybersecurity firm Kela has already identified major vulnerabilities in DeepSeek's R1 model. The system can be manipulated to generate malicious content, including ransomware instructions, fake news, and even details about explosives and toxins. US military personnel have been warned not to use DeepSeek AI tools due to potential security risks. This raises fundamental questions about data sovereignty and national security. DeepSeek's privacy policy reveals that the company stores user data, including birth dates, keystrokes, chat history, and uploaded files, on servers located in China. Sound familiar? It's the same concern that drove the TikTok ban in the first place. Here's my prediction. The TikTok deal, while symbolically important, is actually a sideshow in a much larger technological drama. China has demonstrated that it can innovate around US export controls, potentially making such restrictions obsolete. The real battle isn't happening in social media apps, it's happening in research labs where the next generation of AI systems are being born. Within the next 18 months, I expect we'll see a fundamental shift in how the AI race unfolds. Chinese companies, emboldened by DeepSeek's success, will double down on efficiency-based innovation. They'll develop AI systems that can run on consumer hardware, democratizing access to advanced AI capabilities in ways that could undermine the business models of American tech giants. Meanwhile, American companies face a brutal recalculation. If DeepSeek can achieve comparable results for 1% of the cost, what justifies the hundreds of billions being poured into AI infrastructure? Expect massive write-downs, strategic pivots, and a new focus on efficiency over raw computational power. The geopolitical implications are staggering. If China can build world-class AI systems while cut off from the most advanced Western technology, then export controls become not just ineffective but counterproductive. They force China toward self-reliance while inadvertently spurring innovation that could leapfrog American capabilities. But perhaps the most profound change will be philosophical. The DeepSeek Breakthrough suggests that the future of AI might not belong to whoever spends the most money, but to whoever thinks most creatively about the problem. It's a shift from brute force to elegant efficiency, from financial muscle to intellectual agility. This has implications far beyond technology. In healthcare, education, scientific research, and countless other fields, AI systems built on the DeepSeek model could democratize access to capabilities previously available only to well-funded organizations. That's simultaneously exciting and terrifying, depending on who controls these systems and how they're used. The TikTok deal, in this context, becomes a fascinating case study in strategic misdirection. While America focused on securing control of a social media platform, China was quietly revolutionizing the underlying technology that will power the next decade of innovation. It's like winning the battle for telegraph lines while your opponent is inventing the internet. Looking ahead, I believe we're entering a new phase of technological competition that will be defined not by who has the most resources, but by who can innovate most effectively under constraints. China's response to export controls, turning limitations into innovations, may become the template for technological development in an increasingly fragmented world. The question isn't whether DeepSeek's success will change the AI landscape. It already has. The question is whether Western countries can adapt quickly enough to compete in a world where efficiency matters more than expenditure, where clever engineering trumps massive budgets, and where the next breakthrough might come from anywhere. This is the new reality of technological competition. A world where a small startup with limited resources can challenge the mightiest tech giants, where export controls designed to maintain advantages may actually accelerate the very innovations they're meant to prevent, and where the real battle isn't for market share, but for the future of human-AI interaction itself. The AI Cold War isn't just about chips and algorithms, it's about who gets to shape the future of human civilization. And based on recent developments, that future might be more competitive, more democratized, and more unpredictable than anyone imagined. The game has changed, the rules are being rewritten in real time, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Welcome to the new world of technological warfare, where innovation is the ultimate weapon and efficiency might just beat expenditure. If this deep dive into the hidden connections between TikTok AI supremacy and the future of global tech dominance opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the headlines, then you absolutely need to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This story is evolving by the day, and we're the only channel connecting these dots in real time. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think America can adapt to this new efficiency-first AI paradigm, or are we watching the beginning of a complete technological power shift? Share this video with anyone who thinks they understand the tech world, because I guarantee they haven't heard this angle anywhere else. The AI Cold War is just getting started, and you'll want to be ahead of the curve when the next bombshell drops. Your engagement helps us keep digging deeper into the stories that mainstream media won't touch. So like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay on the cutting edge of what's really shaping our digital future.